So today we're going to learn how to make a slip lead. This is what it is. It's just a rope with 3 knots in it. One knot is to make it tight and hold it in place. And the other is for the dog. It can be adjustable. If you want to take it off, just loosen it and then take it off. Ta-da! And this part's to hold, of course. Thanks, Bear. So the first thing we're gonna do, select a rope. This one's kind of thicker, but I'm making some emergency ones to keep in my fanny pack. So these are gonna be thinner than what I might take on a walk or something. So I found this at a hardware store. It's just some simple rope. This happens to reflect, which is cool, but it can be any kind of rope. And you'll end up with this. This goes on the dog. It can be adjusted. And then you can slide this thing down to make sure it stays in place so that the dog can't get loose and stuff. And then this part is for your hand. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is cut our pieces. I have already went ahead and I cut I think this is like 6-foot piece of rope. And I use this, which is a hot knife. You can also just cut it with scissors and then burn it with a lighter to seal the ends and stuff, but this is a lot easier to use a hot knife, and you'll need a cutting surface if you're doing that. And then I have a 10-inch piece that I'm using for the little stopper thing. The first thing is to find an end, and then you want to make a hole that's just big enough for this to go through. So I'm going to double this over like this and just do a regular knot. And then try to keep it small like that. You want to adjust it so it's the thickness of your rope. And pull it real tight. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to find the other end of the rope here. I'm going to feed it through the hole. There we go. Okay. So now I pull it out here, and now this is going to be my part that goes around the dog's neck. You can go ahead and cut the excess off. Leave a little bit just in case you want some wiggle room. You don't want your knot to come undone, so there's that. Alright. Oopsie. So here's your dog end. Now I need a hand end for me to hold. So I go to the other end and I tie it around like that. Ta-da! And then just make enough room. I think I want like about that for my arm to go in easy. I just tie another knot here around and then through the hole. And then bam. And while you're closing it, you can kind of adjust it if you want it farther down that way or farther up that way, whatever. Ugh, ignore my ugly nails. Okay. They got gross stuff. Okay. So, there's your hand part. Actually, that could be a little tighter and lower. There we go. So, there's the hand part. And then down at the end, the other end of the leash, this is the part for the dog. Now, to prevent this from being loose, like accidentally getting loose and letting my dog go, I'm going to do that piece with the 10-inch piece. Now, this might be longer if you have thicker rope, but for this, what I'm using, it's about 10 inches is good to make a knot. There will be excess, which can be cut off or not, depending what you want to do. So here, I just put this around in the middle part between my hand and the closing part. And then I just tie another regular knot around. I'll try to put them both through. There we go. Okay, so I'm tying this in a knot. Now this part should be tight. You want it to provide resistance to here. So this is a little bit too loose, actually. But tighten it tighter, tighter, tighter until it's hard to move around. So now I have my part for my dog, the part to keep it in place, and that should be really tight. There's some excess on here, and I want to cut that off just for beauteous reasons. Hot knife, cut, 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 cut. Okay, so that's shorter now. And then it goes down to where I hold it. And then you're done. So now that you're done, you have your leash, part that you hold, and then this part goes around the dog, like that. And I'll show you here. You can make it tight, not too tight, and then slide this guy. If you want it to be on the other side, just take it off and put it the opposite way onto the dog. Technically you'd want to loosen this, but I'm doing it one-handed. And when you put the leash on, put the leash on the top, right behind the ears there. Actually, I'd walk from this way in this case. So yeah, keep the thing going straight. You don't want it on the side where it's going to get bent. See how it's bent? Thing comes this way and then bends. So that's gonna put a lot of strain here, which will break your collar over time, make it wear off easier. So yeah, have it straight and keep it right below the ears, or behind the ears. That's gonna prevent your dog from pulling. If it's all the way down here, that's when dogs start to pull, because this is a very desensitized area. If it's up higher, then they don't pull. And also put it around your own neck and give it a tug so you can be sure of the proper tension. You'd never want to give a real rough tug here because this is too sensitive to do that. So very, very gentle if you're doing corrections. All right. So that's how you make a dog leash if you don't have one. All right. Good night, Bear. Thanks for being a model. Good boy.